Hello and good evening to all of you. Good evening, Amlan. Good evening, Vivek. Hello, Jayashree. Hi, Kriti. Good evening, Shashwat. How are you people? It's good to have you all in the Gazette discussion, and it is a privilege, it is an honor for me to address and to share with you the 200th edition of our Gazette magazine. This is the 200th edition, and you all who are viewers, regular viewers, you all know that we release it from Monday to Friday, right? Today is Friday. The next day we will have it is on Monday, and by doing this, we have had this for 200 days, right? Good evening, Vatsava. Good evening, Anonymous. Good evening, all of you. It's a pleasure speaking to you. Good evening, Bhavani. Good evening to you as well. All right. Today we have got some really very beautiful articles which have got good rationale of being in the Gazette magazine today. So I welcome you to Edukemy's YouTube channel, and we will discuss the Gazette magazine and current affairs for 29th October 2021. Good evening, Anil. Good evening to you as well. All right, great to have you all here. Let's begin. So this is your daily guide to UPSC current affairs, and let me quickly share with you what are the snapshots. All right, 200th edition, calls for cheering, right? So there's a whole team working. The morning itself, we start looking at all the articles, what is relevant, what is most important. If there are some backlogs, we cover that as well. And then all of it gets formed with the team. After that, it goes for its designing in this format, right? Because this is a different format. And meanwhile, there are some people studying so that they may be able to present it to you. Alongside, it is also uploaded on the website, right? So there is a complete, and then there is a marketing team. It heads, what are the presentations that are going to be put, a lot of effort. And then you people are there waiting for the evening, right? So it's great to have this family bond for the current affairs from Edukemy. All right. So good evening, Alok. Good evening, Fatima. Good evening to all of you. Let's begin this discussion. 200th one today. New snapshots. The first snapshot is on India rejecting the plans of net zero carbon emission, right? India says India will not declare the net zero carbon emission by what year it will be able to achieve. There are reasons that have been provided by the Environment Minister, by the Prime Minister. So we will understand what those reasons are, right? So India must have some rationale, no? Because all the countries, European Union, and then we have UK, USA, China, Saudi Arabia, all have declared their net zero. Why is India not declaring it? Very interesting argument India has. So second one, that's in the newspapers all around. Second one is a comparison between Agni 5, our intercontinental ballistic missile, versus China's hypersonic missile. So we'll understand what Agni 5 is, how it is different from China's hypersonic glide missile, right? And the third one is the controversy of Mullaperiyar Dam, which has come up again. We will understand the background of this controversy and what is the news, how it can be impactful to Tamil Nadu and Kerala, both of them, right? Interesting one. All right, this day in history dedicated to Jamia Millia Islamia University, right? So we will understand what is the word by word meaning. What is the meaning of Jamia and what is the meaning of Millia, right? And why is it in news for today? Featured news for today is on rapid urbanization. Now, many reports have suggested that the world will grow very fastly, especially in urban areas, right? We will expect 2/3 population of the whole world to be in urban areas by 2050. And right now it is only around 50%. So huge inflow of population will happen. And because of that, there will be changes in the urban setup. It can be made sustainable, or it can be made in the way it is already flowing, right? Right now, there are more than 25% of the people in urban areas residing in slums, right? So which are designated by as slums according to international standards. More than 25%, right? In fact, there are data suggesting it is as much as 37%, right? So we will have to understand what are the sustainable ways of building a city and what makes it unsustainable as of now. So urban planning and urban infrastructure is what we will study here, right? So this is at 6:45 p.m. live. Image of the day is on a new robotics arm and international space station. We have, if you have been participant of the video, we have discussed about spacewalk, and we will understand what spacewalk is. But this robotic arm will also enable people not to get into space and be at peril of the nature. Terms and concepts. The 4 terms that we discussed today are common prosperity drive with respect to China, a very important paradigm shift for the Communist Party of China and whole Chinese landscape, polity, economy, everything, common prosperity, very important word. and how India can learn from it, right? So this is first. The second one is Carrier Strike Group, CSG, which is in the Arabian Sea. This is of US, UK. We will understand more about it. And also the 7th Fleet of USA. So how are they relevant for Indo-Pacific region? And the third one is AY 4.2. Have you heard of this? AY 4.2, something that can spoil a lot of time for all of us around the world. And fourth one is Wetland Mitras of Delhi. All right, the three editorials that we have for today are one, the new water policy, a draft water policy, and what are the proposals of it, right? Government asked it to be designed. It is still in the drafting phase. The second one is about the early childhood education, and the third one relates to trade unions and gig economy workers. So we will understand the concept of gig economy and what is the role of trade unions there. And the case study of the day is of a sustainable school, beautiful case study of how a teacher can bring such a wonderful revolution in many fields at one go, one teacher and so much of impact, right? So Chanakya used to say that nobody knows what is the level up to which a teacher can impact, right? All right. So Alok, good evening to you as well. Let us begin our discussion. All right. Now, India has rejected the plans of net zero emission, carbon emission altogether. Even despite, yes, it is COVID. That term and concept was AY 4.2 was COVID, right? The new Delta Plus variant. All right, getting to snapshot 1, India has rejected this net zero target despite many countries having forced India indirectly, because there are a lot of diplomatic engagements and back channel diplomacy. So all countries have started to focus on when they will be peaking their emission, when they will reach the emission peaks, right? So emission peak, and this is the time when they will have maximum industrialization, right, of the conventional energy forces, right? So many countries have to declare not only when they will be having net zero emissions, they will also have to declare when will they be peaking, and after that they will be reducing the energy consumption of conventional energy, right? So we are talking of the emission gaps, right, and the production gaps, production of conventional energy, right? We have studied this gap report. Now, India says that India is not inclined towards declaring net zero carbon emission targets, whereas countries like China, countries like Saudi Arabia have said 2060. By 2060, they will have net zero emissions, right? And USA, UK, European Union, they have all said by 2050, they will convert to net zero. Now, what is net zero? Net zero does not mean zero production of energy through fossil fuels. It means if we have produced greenhouse gases, we will have measures or mechanisms in which we will balance that. How will we balance that? Either we will sequester it. Sequester means to absorb it in the oceans, coastal climate, soil, or ecosystem like trees, right? Either by that mechanism, or they will reduce the consumption of fossil fuels. So this is what is called as net zero. But eventually, they will achieve a stage where in net they will not be harming through global warming, right? So this is what is net zero status. India has categorically said that we are not going to execute it. Why? India says that there are multiple factors. See, India first of all had targeted Paris Climate Agreement, right? So in Paris Climate Agreement, India had agreed to three important parameters. One was reducing the emission intensity 33 to 35% of 2005 emissions by 2030. And India has already achieved around 26% in the year 2015-16 only. 2016 only India achieved this, half of it, more than half of it. Not only that, India also said that India will have more reserves for it to have carbon sequestration. So we are talking of carbon sink. So having more trees. So carbon sink and having more trees, deforestation. This was one of the India's initiative. And another India's initiative was regarding 40% of renewable fuel, renewable energy capacity by 2030. Remember this, right? So do remember these 3 points. India says we will target this only. We will target what we had declared earlier. See, I have discussed in the previous editorials that achieving net zero is going to be tougher for every country. Tougher because there will be tougher norms, tougher standards. So India is now refraining from having that, because if India does that, India will have to declare when it will peak in the energy consumption. And if India declares that year, that means after that India cannot be using the fossil fuels, and it will stop the level of industrialization. Simple reason is the non-conventional or renewable source of energy are not powerful enough as of now. right, as of now. So India is refraining from speaking on those things. India talks of, see, then what does India say of? India says that India will become a part of the resilient coalition for resilient infrastructure development, right? So there is a coalition for resilience infrastructure, right? So India says we will have these kind of rehabilitatory mechanisms. India says we are already leading International Solar Alliance. Now, what are these? These are adaptive measures. See, there was one editorial where I had clearly discussed that how should we be approaching climate change. There are multiple ways. Either we have penalizing provisions like net zero karo. If you have not made net zero, some penalty will be imposed onto you. So this is one mechanism, right? So coercive measure, right? Rule, law, liability. The other one is the one in which we are empowering the GSR. So when we empower grassroots, we are enabling that transformation amongst people. We are telling, please don't use plastic. We are telling, please don't use wood for as fuel. Somebody is being told not to use the fossil fuel for traveling, right? So use solar energy. So this is grassroots empowerment. And the third one is adaptation. Do remember all these three strategies. Adaptation means, see, ideally, even if we cut down on global warming, even if we make our consumption of all greenhouse gases zero right now, zero, this impact till yesterday will affect the earth up to 20 to 30 years. I'm not saying this, reports are suggesting this, right? Reports are suggesting this, up to 30 years it will impact our environment. So we have to start learning to adapt for the coming 10, 20, 30 years, right? Resilient buildings is one of the adaptation. Adaptation to climate change is another adaptation. You can also put the pointer National Action Plan for Climate Change. There are 8 national action plans, and they were formulated in the year 2008. So this is what India says. We will commit to this. We are not going beyond this anymore right now. India also speaks of natural justice. India says there has been historical, wrong done by the developed countries. What they have done is they have emitted huge amount of global warming gases, and because of them now India and developing countries have to suffer. So we will not do that. Why? Because if we cut down our emission or production, then our GDP also will fall down. So India says that what developed countries should do is give them $100 billion fund per year, and also technology, so that they are easily able to translate. So this is the whole editorial about, and this is what the news largely will be about in the coming few days as well, right? India has clearly said that they will not be declaring net zero targets. So this is the complete understanding, right? I've explained you not only what is mentioned here, but also little beyond and little background of the complete story, right? All right. Snapshot 2. Good evening, Sandeep. Good evening to you. How was the first one? Tell me, how was the first snapshot? Was it good? Did it make you understand some concepts? All right. Now, India, in that one only, a couple of important things. India said that we have nationally determined contributions. So we will follow only that, right? This becomes very important for India rather than declaring the net zero right now, because then there will be liability for the country, but it will not be able to achieve it, right? So it's good that our leaders are foreseeing all this. Snapshot 2 is on Agni 5 versus China hypersonic missile. Now this hypersonic missile that we also studied in terms 2 days back, this is also called as hyperglide missile, right? Hyper because this missile is going to travel at a hypersonic speed. Hypersonic speed is beyond 5 Mach. 1 Mach is the speed of sound, right? We have spoken about this. So almost beyond 6,000 kilometers per hour. This is what it will travel at least. It can travel up to even more than this, 5 to around 20 Machs. This is the speed at which this China hypersonic missile will travel. So humongous amount of speed, and in fact it will be able to cover the circumference of Earth, and after that hit the spot that it has to hit at, right? Its target. So this is the way China's hypersonic missile is going to operate. It will be a combination of ballistic missile and the cruise missile. See, the difference between ballistic and cruise missile is that ballistic primarily refers to a projectile missile. Projectile is the one which can be shot from a machine, right? So from a gun. So projectile is thrown in the air, and after that, under the effect of gravity and under the effect of where it has to hit, some chips guiding it, it will hit the target. So this is a ballistic missile. It can go very high in the sky, and then after that it can hit the place. It can go even farther distances. And the other kind is a Cruise missile. So in cruise missile, it will travel very close to the Earth's surface, 500, 400, even 200, 100 meters above the Earth's surface, very close. It is harder to detect because it is traveling very close, no? So even if radar is detecting some bodies, it very close to Earth, it might detect some birds as well, it might detect some trees as well, some buildings as well. So that is why it is hard to detect. Now this hypersonic missile is going to be combination of both. It can change its projectile motion along the track while it is traveling around the Earth. So it becomes a very dangerous missile. And Agni 5. So coming to Agni 5, Agni 5 is our intercontinental ballistic missile. Range is 5,000 kilometers. That means from any corner of India, we can hit any corner in China, almost any corner, 5,000. So let me show you the map here very quickly. See, make a just make a guess here with the map itself. See, this is India, right? This is India, and this is around how many? 3,000 kilometers. This length is around 3,000 kilometers, and we are talking of a ballistic missile which is 5,000 kilometers range, right? Intercontinental. So if we hit it from this corner, cannot we reach Beijing here? 5,000, very easily we'll be able to hit Beijing. So this is how these dimensions are calculated, and that is the range that this missile has. Very strategically designed. Now, only few countries have this kind of ballistic missile with utter accuracy. India has been developing Agni 5 for quite a while, but this has formally inducted, this process right now has formally inducted Agni 5 in our in the Indian Armed Forces. Now, these are the times when India and China are not doing very well together. Oh, in fact, I should have shown you this image again. Now, the relationship between India and China are at Nadir. Nadir is the point exactly opposite to where we are standing, beyond the Earth, right? So one is pinnacle on the top, and the one which is diametrically opposite, piercing the Earth and going beyond, that means the lowest point, that is Nadir. So you see the difference between, so one good quality of this Agni 5 is that it is a canister missile. Canister means it is placed inside a cover. So it can easily be transported from these trailer vehicles. It can be transported on rail also. It can be easily mounted and then fired at. So this missile becomes more protective, right? So these are the advantages. It can be easily transported from one place to another. Now, one quick update of, and it is a highly precise missile as well, right? Its target will be demolished with precision. Another important update, I had spoken of the China's land boundary law. Remember, China having land boundary with around 20 plus countries, and India being one of them, and China declaring that their boundary is sovereign and they have utmost respect for it. Just 3 days back, remember that? India has responded to it. India has said that China may have its boundary laws, but where there is already a dispute between India and China, India will not recognize these kind of laws, and India will not respect them, because unless and until there is a solution about boundary laws, we will not be able to respect those kind of policies. India has also said in this response that if there are pacts between Pakistan and China where India has dispute, for example, we are talking of the Aksai Chin region, right, where China is there, and then we are also talking of Shasgam region, Shasgam Valley, which originally is India's. Pakistan had its control and it has given to China to build China-Pakistan economic corridor. So India has said that India will not be respecting those kind of laws right now. So an official response was also given on the same, right? So these are the times when if China is having a missile, India is having counter missile. These are the this is the comparison here. So canister driven Agni 5, and this is a hypersonic technology, very, very fast, quickly driven, and it can also go to the speed of crossing 5 Mach. This is a very, in fact, 25 Mach, 5 to 25 Mach. So 6,000 kilometers to almost 30,000 kilometers. See, the complete circumference of Earth around equator is around 40,000 kilometers. 40,000. So you can well imagine around 1 hour plus time, and this hypersonic missile will be able to completely move around the Earth, circumvent the whole Earth, right? So this is the speed at which we are talking. This missile is going to travel, not India's but China's missile. So that is the comparison, right? Range, we know it can hit anywhere on Earth, and our range is 5,000 kilometers going up around China. Payload is we can carry a nuclear warhead. Yes, India has a nuclear triad. Do remember that. So the payload for this is 1,500 kilograms. 1,500 kilograms of warhead we can carry here, right? And what is unique feature? Highly maneuverable. So the maneuverability of this Chinese missile is very, very much, and also ours is not bad at all. It is a very precision SAIC missile. All right, Snapshot 3. Are you guys there? इतना सन्नाटा क्यों है भाई? Are you guys there? If you're there, you tell me which one. Okay, all right. Next question. Next snapshot. Next snapshot is on Mullaperiyar Dam. Now, this dam was constructed way long back, right? We are talking of the times when Britishers also used to rule India, right? And there was a Maharaja of Travancore. So, see, west side is Kerala, east side is Tamil Nadu, right? So, suppose if this is how it is, and we have a huge number of west flowing rivers in our country, right? Thanks Bhavani, thanks Jayashree for this response, thanks Amlan, thanks Preeti. Keep noting the important points, and you can keep noting them later also. See, we are not only discussing the current affairs, we are also discussing the context in which they are there, these kind of news. So there are as many as 400 fast west flowing rivers, and they are very much seasonal in nature, but they provide a good amount of rainfall to Kerala, right? So during those times, early times, and Tamil Nadu is one region which gets, there are some places which get rainfall only through northeast monsoon, right? There are some places which do not get rainfall while there is south west monsoon, right? We know that, right? So largely there are some places in Tamil Nadu which don't have water for irrigation also. So Maharaja of Travancore said that if there's a lot of rainfall happening, we will not need water in Tamil Nadu region, right? So they said that Britishers can construct a dam here, so that through dam they will be able to later get on irrigation water. So Mullaperiyar Dam was constructed, and it gave rights for Tamil Nadu to access all the water, right? So Theni district, these are the places where there is a complete water dependency on Mullaperiyar Dam, and Mullaperiyar Dam largely provides water to Theni for people to do agricultural activities. Okay, Vivek. So this is what is the pact between these two provinces or states erstwhile, that means during those times. Now what happened was that slowly and steadily we had the formation of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. The mechanism is such that there is a Mullaperiyar Dam, and after that there is another dam called as Idukky Reservoir, right? Idukky Reservoir falls downstream of Mullaperiyar Dam, and we also have this Periyar Tiger Reserve in Kerala region. Now what happens is that when there is increased amount of rainfall, now Tamil Nadu, this is the place where the river originates, around Tamil Nadu and Kerala only. So the river quickly flows into Kerala region for a while, and then the water is diverted for electricity production at Suruliyar hydropower project, and then water is later directed to Theni for irrigation and water usage in Tamil Nadu. Now wherever there is more quantity of water available, the dam gates are open, and then water goes downstream to Idukky Reservoir. In fact, this led to increased amount of flow of water, led to the flooding of complete Idukky and the lower stream districts in Kerala. Not only that, this dam is very, very old, and therefore it needs good repair. In fact, Kerala has demanded that you please construct a new dam. So Kerala and Tamil Nadu have to agree to construction of a new dam. So one issue is the flooding, second issue is the old dam, and another issue related to it is that the height of the dam, and that is what is in news. See, more the height of the dam, the more the water that can store, and if more water can be stored, more electricity can be consumed and prepared, and then more water can go to Theni. But it is also a risk to Kerala, right? Because if more water is there and there is suddenly more rainfall, they will release the water. Where will it go? It will go to Idukky, and there it will flood downstream. So Kerala and Tamil Nadu see each other eye to eye. They don't like this kind of affair. Kerala doesn't like it, Tamil Nadu doesn't like it. Kerala says pani kam rakho, have lesser water in the dam, right? And then Tamil Nadu says no, we will have it at higher levels. So now it has been fixed at 139.5 feet levels. And what was earlier fixed by Supreme Court was 142, but because of issues later, they were, and what Kerala has demanded is 139, right? But Tamil Nadu said that Supreme Court has said 142, let's make it to 142 feet. But then a Supreme Court directed committee, it said right now we should have it at 139.5 feet, considering the old dam, considering that downstream may be flooded, considering other factors. So this is the news, right? Complete news we have covered, not only news, the background also. And you may want to just have a look at what's written, because that is also very important. All right, if you like this initiative, just put a thumbs up. No, that is all is required for now, right? And the second thing that is required is you to prepare short notes quickly, and the third thing that is required from you is to be regular. Yeah, be regular. That's more important. So just like this, we will be able to cover many other projects. many other things in news. All right, this day in history is dedicated to Jamia Millia Islamia, right? So this is a central university, and it was the day 29th October today itself when it was formed in the year 1920. It was formed and it was associated with Aligarh Muslim University, AMU, right? And we also had Dr. Zakir Hussain associated himself with this university. So who was Dr. Zakir Hussain? Does anybody know his name and how is it related to our India, our country? Anybody without texting on Google, tell me who is Zakir Hussain. Now, moving ahead, Jamia Millia, right? So what is the meaning of Jamia and Millia, right? So here itself we have explained the meaning of Jamia Millia relates to university and national, right? So if you can relate to 1920, the times of 1920, these were the times of non-cooperation movement and NCM. And before this, 1906 around, we had a couple of more movements, right? What were the movements? Did we have movements for boycotting the imported goods? Yes. Did we have the movements to adopt the Swadeshi goods? Yes, we did have. So that is the reason you can relate to this formation of Jamia Millia. Jamia means university and Millia means national. So we are forming a national university that relates to Indian culture. See, very much relatable. Anybody who is Dr. Zakir Hussain? Who was he? He was the second president of our country, right? An important person. So Jamia Millia. Now there are many kinds of university: central university, state university, and then we have deemed universities, right? So central university is the one, and then also we have private universities. Central universities are the one which are directly funded and also directed, supported by the Ministry of Human Resources Development, central ministry, right? So they receive good amount of funding. You will see better infrastructure institutions under them. Jamia Millia Islamia is one of them. There are 50 plus such universities, right? Okay. So featured news for today is on rapid urbanization. A very good news, very good update about what is the cause of rapid urbanization. Is it a natural thing to happen, or is it happening in a forceful manner? Is it the natural consequence of Earth that urbanization happen? What are the issues? What are the impacts? And we will be able to cover a complete answer through this complete feature article at 6:45 p.m. right now. Image of the day is on a new robotic arm at International Space Station. All right, third president and second vice president, Shashwat says. Absolutely. Was he the third president? Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. Was he the second one then? All right, you must be correct. So Jayashri says second president, and Ruby says he was the first Muslim president of India. All right. But was he the second president? So Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan was the third one then in that case. All right, just have a look, right? It becomes important for you to understand, right? In case you are giving the state examinations, right? In case you are also appearing for other grade examinations, right? Banking examination, SSC. Those are the examinations where they will ask you these kind of questions, right? They have been asked previously and they get repeated. UPSC, you should not be expecting, but you should be knowing, yeah? Okay, all the presidents, all the prime ministers of a country. All right, image of the day is new robotic arm at ISS, International Space Station. International Space Station is located at the low Earth orbit, and it is the size more than a football field, complete football field, and it keeps revolving around the Earth. Humans have physically placed an artificial body around the Earth, and it has got its arms, right? Solar arms, solar panels, arrays, which keep on taking solar energy and they keep running. And then we send satellites. We also send humans to space stations, International Space Station, so that they can work and understand Earth and space bodies. So the distance at which it is located is around 400 to 600 kilometers, right? Around this distance above the Earth, low Earth orbit. This is where it has been placed. So don't you think there will be repair required? Of course there will be repair required. Of course people have to move out, right, out of this the space station. So sometimes when humans move out, even if they take out their head, it is called as a spacewalk. And we have covered quite a few images, and sometimes they have a tether. Tether means, some wire attached to their astronaut suit, and with the help of that they are able to spacewalk. And sometimes when a robot can be used, that is even better. So this robotic arm will be remotely guided by humans, right? So this is what is the image of the day about. Very good development, right? All right. Terms and concept. Babani says third president, and Kriti also says that Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan was the second president. All right. So this is confirmed. This is almost confirmed. Thank you for confirming this. terms and concepts. The first term and concept for today is on the common prosperity drive in respect of China, right? See, China declares itself to be a communist economy, right? See, CPC, Communist Party of China, People's Republic of China, PRC, right? Republic of China is Taiwan, and People's Republic of China is China, the mainland China. So tell me this, communist, peoples, these are the kind of words through which it shows that they are communist, they are socialist driven. But if you see the Gini coefficient of China, Gini coefficient refers to the inequality levels in a country. They are higher than India. They are higher than India despite they talking that they are communist. So they have adopted a very very smart approach. They will have an aggressive economy, and they will also try to maintain it through the communism, right? So it is all a false, it is a facade, it is just a facade, it is a false agenda. There's a lot of corruption happening in China. Yes, development is also there, but the society is largely driven by whatever the Communist Party says. Only one party is there. So they have now initiated a common prosperity drive, right? It is coming from the times of Mao Zedong in 1950s, when he declared the Great Leap Forward. If you know that word, Great Leap Forward. So he said in this there will be nationalization. He also said that there will be community agriculture practices. But slowly it led to nothing but inefficiency in agriculture, inefficiency in industry, and therefore in 1980s, late 80s, 90s, China started to make it individualized again, and that is when they started to grow in economic might. Now, since China has grown very much in economic might, China says that we have to start redistributing the wealth, redistributing of the wealth. So they have declared a common prosperity agenda where the richer person will be taxed, right? Where the people who have got more inherited amount of money will be taxed. Where if a property is there, right, every year the government will be paid something because of the. Every year the government will be paid something out of the total worth of that property. So I was reading in the newspaper, it said that if they place it to 1% of taxation, 1%, that is quite a huge amount. There will be some amount of aggregate collection for the Chinese government, and they will distribute it to the poorer masses. So suppose if the house is for 1 crore, they will have to pay 1 lakh rupees per month, not a less amount at all. And in fact, government of China can actually make it happen, a thing like this. It has not come in practice right now. It is not about creating equality amongst people. It is just about redistribution of wealth, right? This is how they explain it. Can India learn lessons from this? Yes, India can learn lessons, but only the positive ones. No force, but trying to have some good policies. So what are they trying to do here? Curb tax evasion. They're trying to have inheritance tax, property tax, right? And they are also trying to have some of the banning on private tutoring, right? So these are the ways in which they are trying to do this. Carrier strike group, the CSG, right? This specific carrier strike group is that of United Kingdom. It has made its presence in the Arabian Sea now, and it was also docked at in fact its aircraft carrier, Queen Elizabeth aircraft carrier was docked at Mumbai. Now this is where I would like to talk to you about what is a fleet. A fleet is a complete union, an integrated union of a complete naval command in itself. It can defend itself, it can offend, it can also attack, right? And it moves in complete synchrony. So in case aircraft carrier is the one which is carrying a lot of aircrafts, right? These are those spaces inside the sea from where an aircraft can take off and land, right? There are parking garages. There can be more than 50 aeroplanes inside this aircraft carrier itself, and this cannot protect itself very much. So to protect this aircraft carrier, they have frigate ships, they have ships, right? And then they also have the submarines along with that. So a fleet of around 40 ships of various kinds will move in a carrier strike group, UK's carrier strike group. Similarly, USA has got its 7th fleet in the Asia Pacific region only. It has got as many as 60 to 70 these naval vessels, right? So we are talking of oil tankers also. Tankers also go along, right? Because one has to refuel. And then we have destroyers also. See, destroyers uses that in case there are enemy submarines, it will destroy those submarines, right? So this is a complete fleet. There are thousands of people here, and it has one of the important ships has docked at Mumbai. You know why? Because this also declares the arrival of United Kingdom in the Indo-Pacific region. Australia has already declared its aggression. Why? Because Australia has started to acquire the nuclear nuclear powered submarines. This is one. Australia is one. Then we have USA already has this FONOP, freedom of navigation exercises conducting in a whole region, and against China and India also it alleged at one point of time. USA already has declared this 7th fleet, and now another country, UK, has declared it through the carrier strike group. It keeps moving around. It keeps moving around from complete, around Japan to Persian Gulf, all of it. It has docked at Mumbai also. And if you remember, yesterday we spoke of liaison officer. Liaison officer is also associated with the UK, Netherlands, India, right? All right. So this is in news. AY 4.2. AY 4.2. Somebody had rightly said that AY 4.2 is the new variant of coronavirus. We are talking of this coronavirus, which is a Delta plus variant, and it was yes. If you guys are there, all I would like you to do is like this initiative, no, right? Just put a thumbs up so that we appreciate, you appreciate, and we all know that it is worth appreciation, this effort. So AY 4.2 is the Delta plus variant, a new mutation of the Delta variant of coronavirus. It has been detected in Europe, right? Denmark, Germany, and UK, other places, and the fear is that it might get translated to other places. So while India is doing well these days economically, Russia, UK, and other countries there, they have already imposed lockdown again. So this is because these are times when Delta is impacting them. Not only Delta, but Delta plus variant AY 4.2 is impacting them. Now India has also done its study of the patients, corona patients, and if AY 4.2 is being found in their blood or not, in their body or not. So it has been found that reasonably right now there is no threat of A 4.2 here, right, in India. If you remember, we had also studied an important term yesterday. We had studied of hybrid immunity, right? So because 100 crore people are vaccinated, because we also have been exposed to probably the Delta variant, many of us. So that is why we have got this hybrid immunity, which many people might not have had there. Not saying that they were not vaccinated, but did they have immunity against Delta variant? That was the question. Okay. All right. Wetland and mitra, wetland mitras. What are these? Wetland mitra. So these are the mitra, friends of wetland, right? Anybody can volunteer for this service. So this is a very good case, very good case. The government of Delhi has initiated this, and anybody can learn and get the local knowledge of what and how the wetland can be preserved. What is a wetland? It is a natural region which has water presence at some or the other point of time in a year, right? And it can also conserve a huge amount of local flora and fauna, right? So this is one of the conservation methods through which India can retain a good amount of natural pristine beauty. It is also being done in urban areas, wetland conservation. So that is why wetland mitras are in news. Okay, now we are arriving to the most interesting part very quickly. What is India's new water policy? What does it seek to deliver? This is the first one. So let me show you a good map of what is the water consumption level in our country. See, if you see the water consumption, around 90% of water is consumed for agriculture, 90%. And then we have a narrow 8% usage for municipality, and only around 2% used for industry. Imagine. So most of the water is used by agricultural activity. ऐसा करते क्या है? ऐसा what do we do so that we have such a huge consumption of water in agriculture? India is not only water rich, India is also water scarce. India is one of the 10 most blessed places if you see the amount of fresh water reserves that we have. Not only that, India is also one of the most water scarce countries if you see the urban areas and the presence of water in those areas, the demand supply gap. So therefore we need a water policy. What does the water policy seek? One of the important things, it has not been declared right now, but there are a lot of editorials coming in. Why? Because these are the possibilities in which dimensions in which water policy will open up. So one is that it seeks to have crop diversification. If we have only paddy cultivation throughout the country and wheat cultivation, they will take up a huge amount of water. Why not have dry land crops? If we have dry land crops, it will also increase the nutrition level, right? All mentioned in the editorial. It was also said that we have an instrumental view of water, instrumental view of river. What will river do to us? Cannot it just flow? Cannot we enjoy the beauty of the river itself? So every presence of water body is related to how it can be utilized by humans. This should not happen. Instrumental view of water should not happen. Why? Because it is very natural, no? Let the natural organisms grow. Let the, see, just imagine if we are having over Kosi river Bagmara, there's a water project happening, the largest in Bihar, Bagmara water project on Kosi River. It will ensure that flooding downstream does not happen. But have you ever thought that if we construct a complete dam here, a complete barrage here, if water flow is reduced here, what will happen to the flora and fauna downstream? Will they be able to drink water? What will happen to those organisms, those fishes, those birds? So we are only seeing how it can be utilized. This instrumental view must change. This is what the water policy, draft policy and its speculations are talking of. Okay. Absolutely, Vivek. Vivek says it is not 100 crore people vaccinated. It is not 100 crore people vaccinated. It is 100 crore doses. Yes, absolutely true. India has around 30% of population which is vaccinated, and around 75% population which is single vaccinated, and 30% of people fully vaccinated. That's true. That's true. Thank you for this accurate mention. This is very good. All right. See, this is the careful scrutiny, the careful analysis that you have, that shows that you have the presence of mind and you are actively being a part here, right? Right. Okay. So, all right. To err is human, but to forgive is divine. Forgive me for this mistake. All right. So, another important thing is indigenous knowledge. See, India has had many kinds of water conservation systems, right? Tanks, and then we have various canals, right? The indigenous ones, not talking of the new ones in the last 50 years. Also, there is one very good system of routing the water through through channels, right? And this is what was in question, right? Just this UPSC exam only, there was a question of one place in Gujarat where we are using the historical knowledge, historical learnings for water conservation. Which is that city we are talking of? Tell me, right? Tell me that name of city. All right. So we can use that kind of knowledge. It also says that irrigation. Why are we linking irrigation with groundwater? And why are we not linking water with wastewater? Right? Because wastewater can be reutilized, right? So these are the important concepts that need a relook, right? So this is the first editorial about. The second editorial is on early childhood education. See, all I would like to mention here is very quickly that India initiated a policy for Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, SSA. This is an umbrella under which three things will happen: child education, early childhood education, then the primary, that means the primary school education, and then we will have also teachers training here, right? So not only one is the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan, SSA. The second one is Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, RMSA, and the third one is teachers training. So the editorial rightly says that we should start focusing on the early childhood education. This is what National Education Policy also says, because if a child develops and grooms themselves properly when they are very small, then is the time when they'll be able to groom themselves very good when they go to secondary and tertiary levels, right? So one thing that it says is that the child should be present, right? Not only enrollment, the presence of child in the school is mandatory, or early childhood care ICDS centers is mandatory, Anganwadi centers is mandatory. This is one. Mandatory means it must be so. This is one. The second thing that it says is that there must be more role of parents to be participants here, right? This becomes very important because if parents are participating, the child will be there. The third important thing that I am taking up from another editorial but becomes very important is that early childhood education should be only in the local language. If it is in a different language, then their learning skills will not grow as soon, right? So they will lag initial learning skills, and we have known that through many case studies, right? In Ladakh, the children were taught in English and they were failing in 10th exams. The moment they started to get being taught in their local language, in their local dialects, they started to pass the examination, right? So this case study is applicable for all throughout the country. Okay. The third editorial is on gig workers. See, these are the times where there are more contracts between the employer and the employee, right? So instead of having permanent jobs, people have contractual jobs. Now, one sort of contractual job is through platform economy. So what is a platform economy? We have done a complete feature on this. This is the place where a platform is created, online platform, and this is like a centralized place which will connect. One is the supplier of a service and to the user of the service. So suppose I want food to be delivered at my place. So Zomato is the platform, and the people, restaurants are the places who are delivering food, and I'm the consumer. Another platform example is Uber, Ola. So these are the places where I'm demanding for a cab service, right, or a scooter bike service, and people are giving me this service. So these are the contract workers, gig workers, economy workers. But do they have enough rights? They do not have enough rights. Why? Because they are at the disposal of consumers. They are at the disposal of platform economy. Now what happens, I had studied this and even speaking to the cab drivers, they are in a pathetic state these days. They say that the platform, the complete artificial intelligence enabled platform, enabled machine learning platform, is made to have more efficiency for the platform. One good example is, if suppose it says that 10 rides you do, 10 rides for the driver you do, and they will get some incentive. The machine learning is enabled in a way that after 9th ride, they will not be getting the 10th ride. Why? Because the machine primarily looks at the efficiency of the system. That means more productivity, more profit for the platform, for Ola or Uber. So they will not give them the 10th ride. No human does it, the machine does it. So this is against humans, right? There are many other examples, right, of how incentives are getting cut. Not only that, there are many other examples I can share about this. And the cab drivers themselves are speaking about this. This is where countries in Europe, United Kingdom and United States as well, they have trade unions now speaking for the gig workers. And India also needs to develop an ecosystem like that, right? So this is what the article is about. Now, just yesterday or day before, we studied about the concept of Swiggy, right? So Swiggy has introduced the concept where a female employee in Swiggy will have 2 off days, and no questions asked policy will be there. So she can take 2 days off, helping female empowerment, showing the way to corporates how to enable some kind of social activities, right? So becomes very good case study here, right? So this was the third editorial, and Bhabani Anil, absolutely correct. We are talking of Dholavira right here, right? I would request you all to just like this initiative, right? Just put a thumbs up. That thumb button is there for you. And those who have done, I am thankful to you. All right, case study of the day is on sustainable school. So imagine what a teacher can do. This teacher, CM Nagaraja, what he has done is that he has built many eco-sustainable measures. So this is the gentleman we are talking of in the image. And imagine a person, if he finds some kind of waste paper, can we have a bio-waste converter? So this is the way through which we can consume these kind of wastages and have them recycled to build something that can be used again. Not only that, what about recharge pit, water recharge pits? Not a very big thing, but if we initiate this, the students will follow. They will remember for their life that these are solutions to problems. Not only that, we see chemistry portable kits, right? So that they can do their experiments and hope, right? Not everything can be made to be taught, in schools. So if something can be taught at home during the contingent times, corona times, why not? We had also studied the case of a scientist, Indian-born scientist who went to Germany, came back to his home place in Jharkhand, and then he started educating children, right? And through education, he used to give them practical education. For example, if he was teaching them acidity or basic, or what is a base, alkali, so he would ask them to get grapes. He would ask them to get fruits and then eat them and tell them what is the kind of taste. So these are the kind of practical learnings and teachers who are making a way forward for the change in society, right? And these are the kind of teachers who will later be recognized through some of the other Padma awards, right? Or international recognitions. So this is the end of the Gazette discussion. We will quickly meet within 2 minutes for the feature news discussion. So join the other link. Meanwhile, Bhuvneshwari says something. Sir, could you please spell the word used for diametrically opposite between India and China? Nadir. It is not just for, Nadir is not a concept for India, China. It is a concept used in astronomy. It is a concept used in geography as well. Astronomy basically, where if this is Earth and I am sitting here, right here, diametrically opposite to it, if you draw a line, anything along that line is Nadir, exactly opposite. So it talks about the relationship between India and China, that is at Nadir, right? So we will quickly meet within a couple of minutes for a beautiful discussion on the urban urban areas, right? So thank you for watching, and after this we will meet on Monday evening 6 p.m. for the Gazette discussion and current affairs, and then we will have another discussion on the feature Monday evening. So right now, within 2 minutes for the feature news, join in immediately. Thanks for watching.